I've always had a very, and I would say this if she was here or not, but I've always had a great admiration for both my folks. Everything you just alluded to, the other side of the world, the different seasons, the different, almost different language, all that kind of stuff. This is a dry Idaho with four seasons and all that. Um, I was there through a lot of it. I grew up in the middle of that. The business always, most of the time, came home to the dinner table. So I was folded in, and I look back in it at that growing up like that very thankfully because I think it's very like feet on the ground. We struggled, but my folks worked their asses off and ended up making ends meet. And that's like the big difference, I guess, is some people, they try all they can. And sometimes you can get the short end of the stick and just not make ends meet. And so they managed to be able to do that and get more and more stable and more comfortable. We grew to a nice little middle class family. I still look back at the courage that it takes, and it's got to be a good dose of insanity to say, all right, we've got a good thing going, but we're going to go somewhere else and see if we can make it better. Yeah, I just look up to my folks. I really do. Both of
Yeah.
them brought two different aspects to the company. I look up to Chris, obviously, with that there's that relationship that a father and his son, and this kind of stuff, and it's very interesting to walk in the shadow or try and fill the shoes or whatever metaphor you want to make with somebody he was quite a character for one. Like you knew if he was in the room. He very much taught me like how to dream and how to look at a goal and say, all right, like, we're going to go that way. And I'm not that you don't take no for an answer, but if you get a no, that's just another data point. And you're going to figure out like there's another way into this. I think my folks made such a great dynamic duo because my mom's very much uh, the other kind of part of that yin and yang that makes it work and is very good at like making sure all the P's and Q's in the background get done. And she could actually put up with like a little bit of an eccentric person, and get the eccentric person to like stay feet on the ground. I don't have any friends that have the same story as me, that's for sure. But then on the other
Yeah.
hand, like we are also just like a middle class blue collar
Yeah.
manufacturing company, a family. On one hand, it's like very unique and very kind of unique story, but then on the other hand, we're also just normal people and show up to work every day. We have employees and we make what we make.